Welcome to What Matters Most.
We are dedicated to educating the community about holistic, metaphysical, and spiritual topics.
Each week, we discuss things that matter most in life, the things that are most important to you that may have fallen to the wayside.
We are always centered on the idea of simplifying life, connecting with our neighbors, and following our true paths.
Our mission is to empower you to live the life that you've always dreamed of living.
We invite you to focus your life on what matters most. Welcome to What Matters Most. I'm Kristen.
And this is Maria.
From Experience Nirvana, and today is part 2 of having Charis Brown Malloy on our show. Our last segment with her, we spoke about extraterrestrial.
And we didn't have enough time.
We didn't have enough time.
So we want more. And we hope you want more too.
Right. So before she actually comes on, have you ever had any
ET experiences?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I have not.
Okay, so
I have not had any sightings or anything like that. But I indicate to you that I am in acceptance that it occurs. I don't want to be part of the process of, I'm just not there yet.
Right. Well, I and a few other people that I've spoken to have had this happen. So if you have, I'd really like you to email us at info@experiencenirvana.org, or if you have any other extraterrestrial sightings, encounters, anything, please email us and share it with us, because it would be great to be able to maybe post it on the show or on our website. We don't even have to list your name. And
Open forum.
Just so that people know that there's others. Mm-hmm. But what I've encountered is it's always in the middle of the night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know how I was awake at these times. But all of a sudden, the entire sky, it's almost like a bright white light in the sky. And it almost looks like for a second, it's daylight. It's not like a firework. It's not like an airplane. It's not like anything like that. It looks like for a split second, it's daylight, and then it's back to night.
How long has this been going on?
I've been seeing it for years. I've only seen it a few times, but I've seen it in different places.
In different places, not just since you've been at the, okay.
Correct. I've seen it in different places, and a few other people I've heard have seen it in different places.
Now, have you noticed that even when you've traveled? Because you just came back from visiting down south.
No. I've only seen it maybe about 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
So, and that's over the course of a few years. So, no, I haven't noticed it while I was on vacation. But I have seen it a few times, and I don't know what that is. So that's a weird thing.
Yeah, I also know somebody that their family was farming out here in Hunterdon County, and that she said that other farmers had reported incidences with cattle, and that it really does exist, and it does really happen. Like a cattle would be gone, like a cow.
No, I understand.
And then they would find the remains as a carcass, and it was really, really freaky. She said she knows it definitely did happen. So those stories that you do read about or you may hear about, and you think, oh, that doesn't really happen, they do happen, and I do believe that they are very much covered up. Yeah.
I have to say I've learned a lot of information about different sightings, different things by watching the History Channel.
Oh yeah, they always have a lot of info on there. Yeah,
they always have alien shows, which is interesting because you would think the History Channel would be like
History.
Civil War,
right.
But they've got a lot of really good information. So if you have access to it, please watch it as much as you can, because it's a lot. It's very educational.
Right. I think the thing that we really want to focus on the most is that I think many people are already aware of the fact that there's alien types of occurrences that happen all the time, and I think it's important to realize that to diminish the fear factor.
Right. So coming up next is Charis Brown Malloy. Stay tuned. You're listening to What Matters Most, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to What Matters Most. We're here with Charis Brown Malloy. Charis was a normal student in college during her awakening. As she received 2 master's degrees in health and psychology, she was leading quite a double life, talking to angels, learning esoteric arts, and becoming aware of the extraterrestrial presence. Journal of a Starseed is the book she wrote, which was a first-hand account of her journey through a spiritual awakening, and then the discovery that she was actually a contactee. The book is her coming out of the closet in an effort to educate curious individuals about the esoteric and cosmic aspects of the human experience, as well as to diminish fears that run rampant during initial spiritual awakenings. Welcome, Charis. Thank you for being with us again.
Hi, Charis.
Hi, it's good to talk to you guys again.
Welcome back. Hey, so we have some more. We have all the questions that we didn't get a chance to ask you the first go around. So one of the first ones is, what planets in the solar system also have alien inhabitants?
Okay, I asked my guide this, and he essentially told me, and they do tell you this sometimes, and that kind of helps when you wonder whether or not your guidance is just your own imagination.
Uh-huh.
He told me that the information was unimportant, and he said that if we feed questions like this, they kind of just feed our academic logical pursuits that take away from ascension, because ascension is heart-based and not mind-based. And he said that once ascension happens, you'll be able to access the information anyway. I know that sounds like a cop-out to people who might not believe me and think I'm faking,
That's
but,
so funny.
you know,
It's like,
that's just what I got.
Don't worry about it
Don't
right
worry
now.
about
You
it.
don't need to know that.
Pretty much.
So are there good aliens and bad aliens?
Yeah.
Or in the middle, kind of like, you know, there's good people and there's bad people?
Okay, well, from the information that I have, the non-local entities who are around the planet run the whole spectrum for what we in duality would call good and evil.
Okay.
And it's all based on intention and what their intentions are in interacting with humans and with the earth. Some types want to kind of mine resources from humans, just like humans kind of are mining them from Gaia and hurting them. And what they don't realize, and what the human groups that do it to Gaia don't realize, is that when you use growth and ascension and like positive expansion, you end up getting so much more anyway. And so that's kind of the way to do it. And also there are like the karmic issues, what we call karma, which is really just when you hurt someone or do something that abuses something, you create kind of an unbalanced equation that then has to balance. And usually you end up suffering too to balance it. It's an energetic thing. And they said that obsessing over bad and good, like especially the bad ones, you know, your your thought holds a certain vibration, and so you'll pull in stuff that's vibrating at that same frequency. So the best thing to do is just make sure that you're focusing on your own ascension into a divine being, and that you put up protections like any adult should,
Sure.
and that we all remember our strength, and that the vast majority of humans have forgotten this strength, and also strength stolen from others through using their labor or through tricking them is an actual strength that always ends up just hurting and corroding. Anyway, true strength is channeling it from the divine and then generating it yourself.
Oh,
Wow.
that's really a nice way to put it. Thank you, Charis. So
Sure.
anyway,
No,
is there going to be a point where they're going to expose themselves to all of humanity? Will they, you know, they're kind of like, you hear about glimpses of you know, spaceships appearing out in the desert and other places like sightings, right? But will it be more prevalent and just a common day thing at some point?
The answer to that is maybe. And it's kind of a paradox because some people, it's part of their ascension process to realize that they're part of a, you know, universal community that also exists on Earth. Some people, it's just not. Some people are going to go probably their entire lives never knowing anything about it, never needing to know anything about it. It's not a big deal. And one of the things that they said was knowledge that people know about them is just ego. And why would they care if humans know about them, depending on what they're about? And they wish to connect kind of one-on-one. So the paradox is in some people's universe, because you know we all create our own reality. So what's happening is each one of us is like a little divine being walk around in a bubble universe that are kind of brushing up against each other. And so in some people's universe that it might actually happen that there's a huge disclosure event on TV and a press conference and aliens walking around. And some people might just never see it, never know it's there, never need to know it's there. And also what will happen is there are a lot of people on Earth right now that already know and that are already talking to them and communicating with them. So the disclosure thing kind of gets turned into another light when you look at it like that.
Wow. So when there are sightings, I've heard a lot of times the government always seems to be not too far behind, covering up, hiding evidence. Do the aliens realize that
And diminishing it.
And
Yeah.
do they realize that this information is being kept from us?
Secretive, right.
Right. Do they understand that they're trying to cover it up?
Yes, of course they know. Their words to me was, "Of course we know." Yeah, they know. They say it doesn't matter.
Okay.
They said that knowledge, whether or not people need to know, is ego for them. They're not all about, and that's the thing. They're not about being worshipped. They're not about controlling what we do. And they said because true communication between humans and their ET guides or ETs in general is done on a one-to-one level, governmental procedures and misinformation campaigns can't really touch it. Not when humans remember their strength and divinity, and they can just connect themselves, and you don't have to worry about what they're covering up.
So what's going on with 2012? What can your Gray tell us about that?
Okay, well, he told me when I asked him that, I've gotten other information too on it before, but today what I was told was it's a time of great change and great awakening. It's necessary for each person who wishes to ascend to remember that nothing that ever happens in their life, both personally or on a grander scale, is ever a coincidence at all. That there's an order to events, much like the workings of a clock. Like the universe is kind of one big clock ticking away and balancing, and things are happening. He said to greet each blessing and each challenge with gratitude for the chance to experience and to learn, and always to recall your goal, which is ascension into your true divine self. He said that the whole 2012 thing, it's kind of just the culmination of the shifting and between the vibratory patterns on Gaia, that she is going into a new spot, so we're all going into a new spot, and humans do have a huge role in this, but it'll come about for each person in a different way.
When you say she's going into a new spot, what does that mean?
It's a new place in the universe. Like they talk about the dark rift in the Milky Way and how our solar system is now going into the dark rift. And the truth is that there are just different electromagnetic frequencies and different things are allowed and not allowed just because of their resonance inside of that. And that's why all these huge earth changes are happening. That's why strange things are happening with people and waking up. And it's always supposed to happen. And the thing about 2012 is that's the apex of it. But when you've got an apex, things move up the apex and then down the apex. So we're at the end of 2011. We're already like in it, you know.
Yeah.
And just like with the earth changes, it's different for every person. There are some people whose lives have been totally changed for the good and for the bad because of these earth changes. And there are some people who haven't really been touched at all. So it's kind of going to continue to be like that. There might be things that it might be very anticlimactic, and there might be some of those people out there who say, oh yeah, they said stuff was going to happen in 2012 and it never did. It's kind of still up in the air. It still depends on humans' resonance as to what's going to happen.
Wow, well it should be quite interesting
for
the time to come. I mean, everything's been quite unfolding. It's just interesting to see how it keeps unfolding and changing, and it's, so we should, hopefully it'll be nice once it's all over and everyone's kind of settled into the new energies. So your rhythm teacher or your the alien that you communicate with, did he have a particular message? I know he had a message last time,
yes.
Something to share with us.
He did, and I will read it. And I don't, like I told you guys before, I don't often do this, but it was fun to do it this time. This is what he said, verbatim. We're here, we're with you. Denial of the fact will not change it. Denial will, however, affect whether or not you have a clear connection. Communication is not necessary for every person. If you wish it, pursue it, and we will be happy to connect with you. If you do not wish it, do not pursue it. We will not force our way into your mind, not if we are of the light.
That's really reassuring and very beautiful. You have to thank him for us.
I will, thank you.
Well, with that, we're going to go to a quick break. You're listening to What Matters Most.